Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Roach.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
This is our reaction and review for Gen V Season 2, Episode 4.
Mhm.
I just want to say this from the top. This is my favorite episode of anything Gen V has put on the air so far. I'm not going to go so
Wow.
far as be like, this is my favorite episode of the Boys franchise. Like, there's some real bangers in the Boys Season 1, Season
Yes.
2. But I just feel like when it comes to giving us comedy, like real propulsive action, like story reveals, like a legitimate thing with Cipher, I did not see coming at all. I just felt suspense, excitement. Like, this is what I've been wanting from this show.
Yeah, the suspense with Cipher in this episode. Is he human? Does he have powers? Okay, he doesn't have Compound V in his system. Okay, we're sure he's a human. And then to see his powers, I mean, there's a huge mystery around that, that we'll get into some theories of where we think it's all threaded and how this is all kind of coming together. But they really presented quite the mystery and took us on quite a ride.
Yeah, and that is one of the things that really I've always liked about Gen V, but even more so this season. Whereas with the boys, a lot of the time, and sometimes hilariously so, they're bludgeoning you over the face with their plot points. It's just very direct and satirical, but this show,
So funny.
like, they've really dived deep into the mystery of various things. We had like the woods in season 1,
Yeah.
but this season we've had Odessa, which we talked a lot about last week in our premiere review.
Mhm.
And now we're kind of getting into all of this with Cipher, where there's a lot more going on with him beyond just the fact that, okay, he was there when Marie was born.
So much more. I mean, his power, man, he is really powerful. He's going to be very hard to beat.
Yeah, well, we're going to get into all the various wrinkles of this, some tinfoil hat theories, like what this means for Marie, Emma, all the rest of our heroes moving forward. But of course, before we dive into any of it, be sure to hit that subscribe button because we have so much more coming up here on Gen V with various reviews, discussions, beyond all of that. We're gearing up for a very fun next few months here at the channel with It, Welcome to Derry coming to HBO. And
Yep.
then later this year, Fallout Season 2 is here. We are all heading back to the wasteland.
It's so exciting. We love Fallout so much.
Yes.
The games show, all of it. Walton Goggins, amazing.
Yes.
And also, if you want to talk to us further about Gen V, you can head over to our Patreon. We're having more discussions, polls, all kinds of chat over there. I'll leave a link for you below in the description.
Thank you guys so much for your support over there.
Okay, let's start off here with Cypher's powers because,
Yeah.
I mean, he's really overpowered. The fact that he's able to go into any other body snatcher style, and take over this person and their powers, I mean, such a great reveal. But my tinfoil hat theory on this is that the person who's his dad, that's in this like alien style chamber pod, is actually the real Cipher. And what has happened is he has taken over the body of whoever this is, and that this person is actually a human. But because Cipher still has his powers, he's able to use those powers in this human. And that's why when Marie was checking his blood, she was like, oh, there's no Compound V in there. He's actually not a soup. He's just a human. Yeah, he is just a human. However, there is a soup that's in that human body. And that's why I think he's been able to kind of maneuver around it. Whether whoever this person was, there's someone who was like a fan who was like, oh man, I would do anything to have powers. Take over my body. It's, Gen V and the boys. It gets real dark and weird, right?
Yes.
Or if it's just somebody that he took over.
Okay, so I'll just take everyone through my emotional headspace as all of this played out. Because when I first saw this person in the chamber pod, as you put it, my initial thing was like, is that Stormfront? Because I know Stormfront is dead.
I know. There
Just-
was a minute.
It reminded me a lot of that. But ultimately, I agree with everything that you're saying, just because it makes every bit of sense here. It explains the no Compound V thing. It also sort of explains this idea of, okay, it would make a lot of sense that the real Cipher, and, by the way, a cipher is something that needs to be, decoded, decrypted, no matter how you, so it kind of fits this character now, but that the real Cipher would not be just sort of roaming around. They would be a little bit more inaccessible. Another thing that's interesting here is like, yeah, they're in this chamber, but we don't know, like, is this thing made of indestructible material? Like, what's keeping them from somebody wandering in there and just smashing through it and taking them out? Like, that's something that's in my head already.
Okay, let's get into what I think the actual big plot for Cipher is.
Okay.
Okay, so I think that Cipher has had some sort of issue with Homelander. There's something that is going on there because he, of course, has taken this real interest in Marie, was at the hospital when she was born, all these things. She is the chosen one. He is really trying to get her to hone in her powers to be more powerful than Homelander so that he can body snatch her and become the most powerful soup in the universe.
Oh, that's interesting. Like I was sitting back and thinking, back in the premiere, I said that I was like, all right. So this whole Odessa thing is for a way for Homelander to be defeated. And ultimately though, okay, what if this? What if
And it could be that they're trying to make sure that they have a fail safe to defeat him. But then I was just like, well, if Cypher can jump into bodies and he's now training Marie to be the most powerful soup, even more powerful than Homelander, why wouldn't he just take that body and be like, I'm done with it?
Well, why don't we just combine our powers here for a moment? Because what if he wants to be the one to take down Homelander, and then he can do that. He can take Marie's body. He can then be the one that does this because he might have some sort of issue with Homelander, and then he can sort of become the quintessential villain who takes over the world. He's
Right.
just taking over the world now in somebody else's body. Like, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, the question that I then have bouncing around my brain is like, okay, clearly you did not want anybody to find out that this was your power. Like, you've done everything you can for seemingly a long time
Mhm.
to keep this under wraps. So it's like, okay, now the secret is out there. What do you do about it? Do you move your chamber pod to another location?
Well, here's the thing, too, right? Like, does Vought know? And because if Vought knows, and let's say the real Cypher is a company man, and they're like, you know what? We'll get you to train up Marie, and then you can just take Marie's body because you're a company man. You'll do what we need you to do as Vought to be able to take care of Homelander because he's out of control right now. But because you are part of the company and you want to be part of the company and that you will be kind of under control of the company, we'll allow this to happen where you can train up Marie, you can take over her body, you can take out Homelander, and then you will be the new Homelander as Marie.
I think the other thing I'm sort of wondering about here that makes this even more complicated is just that this seems to be a very hard thing for anyone to fight back against, because let's say that this Cipher, the real Cipher, is in that chamber pod. That's pretty far away from where the pretend Cipher was and then where Jordan was
Right.
in this battle against Marie. So it's like, is there any distance limit to what Cipher can do here? Because if Marie is trying to be like, oh no, you're going to take me over, can I just go to the other side of the world? Like, am I going to be free of you then?
That's an important question. I mean, it's possible that there is a distance limit, or it's just possible that once they're in your body, until they decide that they're out, they're not out. And because Marie is not someone that Vought would be able to control, this makes way more sense than Vought is just making her the chosen one and then
Yes.
what? Hoping for the best? They're a corporation. They're not going to just hope for the best. They're going to want to put somebody in that spot that they're able to deal with.
Yeah, and I mean, we can even take this up yet another notch here and be like, okay, maybe Vought did want Marie to just fully get rid of Jordan altogether because they feel like, okay, Jordan is a distraction here for
Yes.
our end goal. Yeah, Jordan, they could be a great suit or whatever, but the whole focus here is really Marie. So how do we just get Marie to the point where she is more than capable of being our vessel?
Yes.
I just feel like all of this was really, really played out very, very well. Like, Cypher is such a creepy, sinister dude. Just the way in which he interacts with everyone else, he has felt so in control. And I mean, now we know why. If things ever got too bad, whether it be with Kate, with Marie, with anybody else, like, he can just like flip the script, jump over to their body, everything is then going to be fine.
Yeah, I mean, he's so powerful. And the fact that he does kind of have an idea of everything that is going on. He's able to see when they're meeting. He's like, there's cameras everywhere. He knows Kate's in there trying to work him over with this like little camera. Like, it was the reveal of him jumping into Jordan's body and controlling them in that fight. I
Yeah.
mean, I wasn't sure what was going to happen with that fight when, in comes the punishment. Okay, Jordan, Marie, you guys are going to have this huge battle, televised, all of that.
Yeah.
Marie is going to win. Jordan, you are going to go down. And that's the way it's going to be. It is going to be that controlled. I didn't know what they were going to do when they got into the ring. So to see Marie just go up and kiss Jordan, I was like, oh, okay. So they're able to take some sort of control
Yeah.
of this. But then the minute that Cipher took over Jordan's body and was like, nope, this is absolutely not going to be the way. You're going to have to fight back or you're going to die. It was like all stakes are in.
It was all stakes are in. This was an element of vengeance, I think, clearly for Cipher, because Cipher probably felt like, Jordan, you were number one and you embarrassed me. You did the whole speech in front of all the
Yep.
people in episode 3. And like, this was,
For sure, there was a humiliation aspect to it.
yeah, like this was a big comeback for the Cipher character to get what he wanted, to take Jordan down a peg. And I just think what made all of this work so well is, okay, we've got the over-the-top promotional aspect of this bot battle.
So ridiculous.
Like, where they're coming up with names. All of that is very, very voice coded. And then we have the dark stuff going on with Cipher. But then we also have this break-in plan where I'm always down for any sort of episode that's like, okay, we're going to sneak in here. We're going to have a little bit of stealth. Yeah, Cipher figured it out. But Emma, one of my problems with this character has been like her powers are treated a lot of the time like she's just a total novelty, where it's like, look how small I can be. Let me jump between all these different cups. It was like, this was one of the first like really effective and fun ways that they've used her power, where it felt like there's real stakes, there's like a real adventure here, and there was a plan with all these different components. Like if one thing goes south, then everybody's probably dead.
Absolutely. It was really good to see her in that type of a role where she's, not just the joke. Of course, there were jokes there with the whole toilet humor that was going on, literal toilet humor.
Yes.
But it was good to see that she was able to really participate in this in a way, even though she, of course, did not want to help Kate in any kind of way.
Yeah, and I think now, though, unfortunately, this plan's going completely up in smoke. Cipher, he can't just be like, okay, I'm going to get rid of Kate, I'm going to get rid of Emma. Like, you can't just sort of pluck all these different characters out, because then you have to answer for it. Like, you have to look like you're in control. So I'm going to guess here, tinfoil hat, that his next move after this big reveal is going to be like, okay, Kate, Emma, everybody else, you're all just going to go back to school. We're going to be sending you on your way. And it's just going to be business as usual, because now that he's having to pivot, his powers are out there. He's probably banking on this idea that the fear of being controlled is going to be enough to just keep everyone in line.
It would keep me in line. I mean, even more than Elmira, which is what he keeps threatening. I'd rather go back there than have to deal with Cipher taking over my body and doing whatever he wants me to do.
Yeah, like that idea in itself is really, really scary, because
It's a creep show.
it's totally a creep show. We know fully what he is capable of at this point, but I think if there's a way to take out Cipher at this point, I think what our heroes need to try to remember, and I don't know if we consider Kate one of the heroes. I'm certainly not there yet at this point, but you have to think that he answers to somebody, right? Like, there's still a way to maybe get him away from the school, but it involves Vought, and it involves, okay, we have to find a way to convince someone at Vought that Cipher is bad news and he has to be taken down.
Yeah, they're going to have to. This is all going to be about information and getting information. Like, let's say that is the plan, that he's going to, soup up Marie so that she is able to beat Homelander. He's going to then take over her body, and she's just not going to exist anymore. That's the new body that he's going to be taking. And he/Marie will be the new Homelander. And Vought is very happy with this, and they are fine with it, let's say.
Yeah.
But let's say that that's not all of Cipher's plan, that he's like, I'll be the new Homelander, but I'm going to be a million times worse than him because I'm way more powerful than he ever was. So can Vought really control me? No. And we know that he's already doing horrible things. Is he doing these horrible things so he can get Marie's body to be number one? possibly part of it, but maybe there's an even bigger plan where it's like, I'm just going to take over the world kind of thing. If they're able to get information on him, it's always the thing that brings down everybody.
Yes.
Real information that he is not a company man, he is not going to play ball, and that this is the wrong move, that they're actually better off dealing with Homelander than dealing with Cipher, then maybe they will just take care of Cipher in the way that they take care of all their soups.
Okay, here's the bad news for Marie and company here. You guys unfortunately need Kate. And beyond that, you even need Sam, who wasn't even in this episode. But it's just like, you guys, they are the connective tissue between you and Vought at this point. They got their own movie, and, you know, they're in good with some characters over there. So you're going to need to convince them that they have to go back to Vought, tell them that they're bad news. I mean, maybe we're getting all of these little firecracker moments this season because, like, maybe they're going to go on Firecracker show, and that's going to be a way to sort of, I don't know, quote unquote, reveal that Cipher is bad news. But you have to find a way to use whatever is in your arsenal, even if they're characters and people you just don't like.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was kind of interesting that Sam wasn't in this episode at all, and that this ended up actually being one of the best episodes. And I feel really bad. We talked a bit about Sam in our premiere first 3 episodes, that his character just needs to evolve a bit more than what's been going on, because it was the same thing last season that's been happening to him this season. He just hasn't really grown or gone anywhere with anything, and all the rest of the cast has.
I think what's kind of weird to say about all of this is that despite the boys universe having a lot of really good characters, the episodes are often better when they're controlled, even if that means taking people out we do like, or performances who are good. Like, I mean, we think back to just this past season of The Boys, one of the best episodes was Homelander and the Carvel ice cream cake and everything. Like, there were not as many characters in that episode, and it's just sometimes a show like this, going smaller can be effective unless you have a good story for every single person in the cast. And if there is no good story for Sam right now, don't force him in. Maybe find a way to include him down the road, because it seems like he is just wound up by Kate at this point. So if Kate has information once she is fully on board Team Marie, maybe she can then go to Sam. But whether she's ever going to be on Team Marie is the big question there.
Also, is she ever going to actually end up getting her powers back? Like, you know, she has some powers, but as we saw, she's not really in control of it anymore. She's telling people to do one thing and they're doing like a variation of it, but it's not exactly what she said. Is this something that she's ever actually going to be able to get back, or is this just the way it is?
All right, another tinfoil hat moment. This is the writers realizing we made Kate too powerful last season. We just need to find a way to nerf her, because, Cypher's still more powerful in that he can just apparently swap out bodies no matter where he is. But Kate is still far more dangerous at this point when she is at full capacity than almost anybody else on the show. And if she was able to just do whatever she wanted, she could just go in, you know, convince Cipher if Cipher doesn't see it coming, or convince other characters to just like do her bidding. They had to figure out something. I feel like by the end of the season, maybe she will be more evolved, but they're gonna have to find a way to like stamp some other sort of limitation on this.
Yeah, I just feel like if she was back at her full power, she would have already really been able to deal with this. I know she's been really afraid, but in that moment where she thought, you know, oh, he's just a human, I'm actually going to be able to do something. If she was able to fully push him, this whole show would have been over.
It just like, that's the real balancing act with this entire world, is that, you want people to have powers and be powerful, but they can't be too powerful. It's like, we can't have anyone more powerful than Homelander too quickly now, because then the entire story can just be rushed to the end. Everybody knows that Homelander is effectively the big bad, but you know.
And we only have one more season of The Boys.
I was trying not to think about that. No, it's just like story conveniences with Kate aside. I just feel like this episode cemented to me is like, okay, you guys clearly know what you're doing. You have a long form mystery that we are getting to see play out. We know Marie is special, but we also know that Cipher is special now, and everything we're sort of seeing and building up to, like, there's a very clear end goal to it.
I was actually also hoping, this is the darkness in me,
Oh
but
boy, all right.
we are watching, Gen V and the boys here.
Yeah.
I was really looking forward to seeing that fight with Marie and Jordan like really play out. I mean, they are both really powerful.
I was wanting to see it too. Like, there hasn't really been like that much superhero action in the first 4 episodes.
Yeah.
And even when we live in this era where there's Marvel and DC, and you can always argue, okay, are we actioned out? Are we all numb to it? I still
No.
like it, and I still like it within this universe because the action sequences are often crazy or
Yeah.
very, very disturbing. There's more they could have done there. I'm going to sit back and be like, okay, you guys are just saving something for us later this season because you want to have your own iconic action moment. I will give you the benefit of the doubt for now, but if episode 7 or 8, there's not that, I'm going to be upset.
No, this was the best episode, I think, of both seasons. I agree. It was very controlled, but also had some new jokes that were coming in because
Yeah.
we've seen like a lot of these same jokes that they used in the first season that had already been seen on The Boys proper, where I was kind of like, like, where are we going with this? But they had some really funny moments in this episode of things I was like, oh wow, okay, we're going there.
Yeah, and I'm glad for that, and I'm glad them kind of finding their voice and finding their tone a little bit. Like, this show's probably never going to be as silly as The Boys, but it's very character driven, and there's
Yes.
some humor that can come within that.
Yeah.
But this is where we are coming out of Gen V season 2, episode 4. What do you guys think about this Cipher reveal? Do you guys feel like the person in this pod is actually the real Cipher?
Or is it his dad?
Let us know in the comments. And of course, hit that subscribe button for more coverage and support us further by joining our Patreon. That link is in the description. Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
support, and we'll see you here next time.